here to talk about setting up my camera gear. I have just finally put all the pieces together. I'm sure this is just the beginning. I have a large Zhiyun light and a large lantern style modifier, and I have my Sony A7 III camera set up on my countertop here and right directly in front of the light. So it's all very close. I'm using my 24mm lens, I believe, at 2.8 f2.8. I'm hoping that the background will be pretty blurry, but I don't know if it's really doing what it should. I'm going to test and see if this light on my face is good or not. It's a very white sunlight, 5300 Kelvin temperature on the light. I've got a couple of practical lights behind me. I've got the blue Alexa, turn the light in the living room red. I don't know. So we'll see how that looks. I don't know what a better color would be for that. And I've got my DJI Mic 2 set up with the transmitter on top of the camera, plugged in with the cable that came with it. And I've just figured out that I had it plugged into the wrong hole on the camera. A little bit of Googling and YouTube, and because my camera was not picking up the sound from the microphone, I realized that I had it in the headphone jack and not the mic jack. And that was under a hidden door that I had never opened before on my camera. So I'm learning so many things right now. And so, yes, so we'll test and see how the audio is. I believe the audio should be coming from this mic here on my shirt, and all the cool kids are doing that, showing their lav mic right there out in plain sight. So now I'm a cool kid because I have all the toys, and now I just have to figure out how to use them. I'm feeling a little bit happier now because I was getting very frustrated. This is one of the reasons why I tend to feel great amount of resistance to sitting down in front of the camera, even sitting down in front of the iPhone. But I keep seeing all of these YouTube videos where they're talking head videos, and the light is just so nice and so flattering. And I know I'm 30 years older than most of these YouTubers that are so young and beautiful. But I do know that lighting can make you look a lot better or a lot worse than you really are. So I'm going to test this out. I may want to go for a warmer light. I may be able to just slightly do the color correction. But ideally, I should get this set up. And this is in my kitchen, actually. This is my kitchen counter that the camera is sitting on. And I'm just sitting on a bar stool in front of my kitchen counter. I think this might be a good look because there's a lot of depth in the background, which is supposed to be the thing that you want. I probably need to clean up a little bit in the background, but I was hoping that this will blur out a little bit at f2.8. I believe this lens doesn't go lower than 2.8, so that's probably a good thing because I want it to be focusing on my face. So I'm really hoping that my face is in focus, and if it's not, I'm going to have to figure out those settings as well. I did set up some memory settings on my camera months ago so that I'm shooting at 24 frames per second and what is it? Is it 50? Shutter speed of 1/50, which is where you're supposed to do it. So it's supposed to give it a more cinematic look rather than a more digital look. So let's take a look and see how this came out. All right, let's just test this lighting setup right here. I've got the light set down to 15% brightness, and I've got my background lights down to 50%, and I've got the salt lamp down on a low setting. So we'll see how this looks in the camera, see if the audio works good from the position I'm sitting in, see if I can take a look at the background and see if there's anything super distracting back there that shouldn't be there. If I can get this dialed in, then I can just quickly set up my YouTube studio and just start recording whenever I feel like it. And I will have no excuses. Not like I had any excuses before, but I came up with them. So let's give this a try. I'm going to scoot over just a little bit over here. Change the frame. My mic's still recording. Mic is still recording. Testing 1, 2, 3. I'm about to run out of battery. I've been trying to get my Sony imaging app to work on my phone so that I can actually see the camera view while I'm recording. That is not working well. The new camera app for Sony doesn't work with my Sony, so I'm guessing that that was their improvement. Toby, stop. Come here. Do you want up or not? I'm assuming that was their improved app, but of course it doesn't work with my camera. And so it's been quite frustrating. And then the other idea is I was going to load it on my iPad, but my iPad battery is dead again. I'm not sure what's happening with it. It's only a couple of years old, if even that. And I've charged it up multiple times, and I keep it on, I've been keeping it on airplane mode and turned off, and still the battery is just draining in a matter of days, even when I'm not using it, when it's not connected to the network. So I'm afraid there's something seriously wrong with my iPad, and that's disappointing because then I have to do something about it or I'm just wasting money. But then I tried to connect the Sony imaging app to my MacBook and tether my camera with a USB cable, and that is not working either. So I'm gonna stop trying tonight, and I just have to celebrate the things that I have done tonight, which is huge. I've found a better spot to set up my camera. I have set up my light in a way that seems somewhat flattering and is bright enough to keep me in focus. And the background, I would like the background to be a little bit darker, so I did turn down the light in front of me, and it should have the light falling off. I think that if I try my other modifier that has the grid in it that focuses the light just on one spot, then the light would fall off in the background, and then it wouldn't be as bright back there, and things would be a little less distinct. So maybe tomorrow I'll try that. It is Friday. I have the weekend. And it's supposed to be raining all weekend until Monday, but we do have Monday off, so that's awesome. And hopefully Monday will actually be a nice day. They're actually predicting snow in Jacksonville. I don't believe it, but theoretically, if all the conditions are right, if the temperature drops down below 32 and it happens to be raining or misting, then it could certainly snow. It's been 1989, I think, was the last time it snowed here. I was here, and I remember it, and it was insane because it's not like it snowed that much, but totally shut the town down because Florida is not prepared. It does not have the infrastructure to support snow. So anyway, that'll be interesting. But point being, I have the weekend that will be rainy, so I have a perfect excuse to stay indoors and play around with my video equipment and my lighting and come up with some video ideas of things to actually talk about, get more comfortable in front of the camera. I'm noticing that as I set up the camera, suddenly I have no ideas. I wanted to talk about things like the keto diet or the carnivore diet, which I'm doing the carnivore diet, but I'm kind of, again, molding it to what works for me. I may be kidding myself about whether that's actually helpful or not, but I do think a lot of people might be interested in that and all the lessons that I'm learning by doing a elimination diet in regards to my health and in regards to cravings and mood and all of that. So I may talk about that. I'm definitely focused a lot on the thought of retirement. Could I actually retire early, or if not retire early, at least just stop working for a year, take a year off and travel. If I do that, probably the only way that I can really make it work for any period of time would be to sell my house. and that would free up an immediate minimum of $3,000 a month right off the bat. Although I don't have hardly any equity in the house because I've only been here for 2 years, I believe I could get what I paid for it and definitely what I owe the bank and what I put in as a down payment. But that is going to be a big undertaking, or at least in my mind. The thought of if I were to actually sell the house, I'd have to sell all my stuff. And I'm not going to be able to sell all my stuff. I'm going to have to get rid of all my stuff or start paying for a storage unit, which we all know how that goes. And so, Toby. So, I had been thinking about just if I do sell my house, if I do quit my job for a year or more, just flying straight to Southeast Asia. But I have this guy that I have to worry about. And while I know it's completely possible, I've seen people bring their dogs to Thailand, I'm a little bit worried about once I got there, would I be able to travel much? Would I be able to take him places? All of those things. And if I needed to quickly come back to the States, would I have any trouble bringing him back with me? So I guess I'm putting the cart in front of the horse, thinking about all those things, but it's truly a practical issue that needs to be understood before I go making any huge decisions. And then, so I think based on being a little bit intimidated by that idea, I started dreaming about van life again. Well, I have a minivan that is decked out as a camper van. It's extremely small. And again, I have Toby to worry about. And if I could follow the weather and stay in places that were at least cool and not super hot, and then figure out ways to maybe only leave him in the car if it's evening time, and find other ways for other people maybe to watch him in different locations, then it would be really fun to travel the whole country and maybe Mexico and Canada. The good thing about that van is even though it's extremely small, it's paid for and it gets great gas mileage compared to anything else. I could probably put a few $100s into some repairs on the batteries and that sort of thing, and I'd be good to go. But I'm still thinking I need to have some sort of air conditioning system. I don't know. Lots of people are doing it with dogs without air conditioning, and they're making it work. So I suppose I'd be up for an adventure if I were to do that. So that's what my video viewing has been consisting of the last few days. Early retirement, van life, travel to Southeast Asia, and of course I just came back from a trip to Thailand, which was my first trip over there, and definitely fell in love with the place. And I think it would be so easy because it's so affordable. And I have enough money just in savings to cover expenses for a year, even if I just stayed in this house. But that would be about it. I think it'd be pretty much gone in a year if I stay here in this house with all the expenses that I have now. So in order to follow my dreams, I have to let go of a lot. And that's a hard thing, but it may not be as hard as the pain of regret of not doing it. So maybe those are some things I can talk about and figure out how to keep the dog calm while I'm making videos. And so that's all for tonight, and I'll see you the next time I turn on the camera.